Hope is central to your educational journey. You likely will, or already have, experienced significant roadblocks along the way. Perhaps you'll come to what feels like a dead end as you do research or write a paper. Perhaps a project deadline is looming, and you simply can't muster up the creativity and energy to get it done. Or perhaps you're simply struggling with understanding the material, and in spite of multiple explanations from your instructor or classmates, it's just not soaking in. You feel stuck. Hope is lost. It's hard to argue that hope is a vital linchpin in the educational process. Much has been written about the positive effects that hope has on one's emotional and physical health. It has also been identified as a significant marker in a student's educational success. In fact, some studies have shown hope as a more predictive marker for a student's success than even one's intellectual capability. The late Charles Snyder, a leading hope theorist, defines hope as the perceived capability to derive pathways to desired goals and motivate oneself via agency thinking to use those pathways. So if the goal is the completion of a paper, hope is the positive motivational state that's connected to pathways. In other words, you could see the route or path to achieve that goal. In addition, hope is about willpower or agency. This is your ability to stay on that path. But hope also has theological implications. Central to the Christian story is a theology of hope that rests firmly in the promise of the resurrection. A theology of hope is more than seeing a way forward and trusting we have the capacity to get there. A theology of hope is about the future to which we are headed. In the resurrection of Christ, a new way has broken in, where death does not get the last word. And even though we don't see it clearly, in its fullness right now, the new age that has broken in points to the day when all things will be made right. All things will be reconciled. Death will be no more. And this isn't just capital D death, that inevitable reality to which we all are heading. This includes all the lowercase deaths we experience in significant and subtle ways. We feel the sting of death in the fragmentation of a relationship. Death rears its ugly head every time those who stand at the margins are exploited or hurt. We see death in systemic racism. We see it in sexism, classism, and all the many broken systems of which we are both victim and participant. A theology of hope points to the day when death, in all of its many forms, is no more. And to be clear, to have this hope is not to sit passively by waiting for the Lord to return, but rather it is to engage our world with greater courage and hope, to live today as we believe it will be when God makes all things right. And this matters for where you find yourself today, because any moment that contributes to human flourishing, any moment that seeks to understand brokenness, conflict, or fragmentation, any moment that seeks to make the world a better place is a moment that reflects that hope. It is a moment that God cares about. The virtue and discipline of hope matters because it is more than just completing a paper, course, or program. It's more than just finishing the race. It matters because it places all that you do in your little corner of the world within the greater calling of God's people to live into God's preferred and promised future. But hope does not always come easily. There are times when it seems there's no way forward. There are moments when we simply don't have the courage to believe that things can change. What might happen if you paid close attention to the ways you feel and experience hope? Are there situations or people that consistently offer you hope? And what would you learn if you paid close attention to places at work, home, or in your community where you feel hopeless? What might this have to teach you about who you are, the world around you, or how you understand God? Hope is not simply a passive experience. We have agency to pursue hope. But it takes work, attentiveness, and reflection. It takes discipline. Moments of hopelessness are often followed by the experience that there is, in fact, a path forward, and that we were able to get to the other side of whatever the challenge may have been. In other words, hope was not lost, we just couldn't see it. So when a way closes, or you lose trust that you are capable to navigate your way through it, remember that you may not be as stuck as you feel. Pause, take a deep breath, Remember all the times before when you felt stuck but persevered. And then take the next best step, trusting that all is not lost. There is hope after all.